Hey guys, I'm Emily Powers and today I'm going to show you how to paint a fall leaf. Here's my reference painting. I don't know that you can see that whole thing. I don't know. But this is, I did this beforehand to just kind of see how I would do it. And the picture I'm using is off of Pixabay. This is it right here. So I think it's really neat with the like circles in the background and the heart and the leaf. So we're going to be doing that. And the canvas panel I'm using is from ROWNEY. It's a 8 by 10 inch and it comes with 3. It's 3 in a pack. And then my brushes that I'm going to use are this one's actually already wet, but this is a Filbert. It's one I got in a set, so I don't really know exactly what size it is. It's probably like a 1/2 inch. And then I have a 1/2 inch mop brush. And then a 3/8 inch angle shader and a small round for the leaf. And my paints are Titanium White, Cadmium Red Medium, Cadmium Orange. This is deep yellow, so it's Artist Loft brand. This is this color, but I usually use Cadmium Yellow Medium in Liquitex Basics. This is just, it's basically the same color, just in a different brand. And then this is Brilliant Yellow Green, Emerald Green, Ultramarine Blue, Burnt Sienna, and Burnt Umber. You don't have to have these two. If you don't, you could just mix up a light green and then more of a yellow light green. You could probably use phthalo green with cadmium yellow medium plus white. A lot of yellow and white for that one. And I really don't use those very much, but I had them and it worked out really good for this one. So if you have them, you can use them. And then I also am going to use one of these little foam pouncers. It's a 3/4 inch is the one I'm using. And I got like 3 of them in a pack at Michael's for pretty cheap. And they were all different sizes. So I have one a little bigger and then one that's like 2 inches. And I'm going to use this watercolor pencil to draw it. I already pre-coated the canvas with the deep yellow right here so that I wouldn't have to go over, so that I wouldn't see anything through. I wouldn't see the white through it. If I see anything, it'll be the yellow. So I've already kind of drawn in a little of the leaf with another pencil that's lighter, but I want you to be able to see it a little better. So if you split it into thirds, then that's where the leaf is going to end. And if you split it into thirds this way, it's probably on this upper third. So if you split it thirds, it starts here, kind of goes down, and kind of like goes in and around like that. And then I pretty much diagonal line down this way. So this, and come out like that. And I actually went over the heart and drew the heart in later, but I missed it since I already have the heart in. And I did this upper half first, so it goes up and kind of does this little hump here. And if the leaf doesn't look exactly like mine, it's fine. My reference painting did not look a whole lot like the picture, but it was still pretty, so. And then it goes diagonally this way. It curves in and around. there's this little thing that comes off. This leaf has these little curly bits in here in different areas. So we'd have to do a really thin line when we get to that part. And we'll probably cover over a lot of this when we do the background, but we can put it in later. But I wanted to draw this first because I want this bright yellow under the leaf. I didn't do that last time and had to go over the white several times. So I wanted to avoid that this time. So it's going to go up and then come to a point. And kind of has a hump there, and it goes in and up. And this leaf, this part here, is folded in. So the tip folds back. So you're going to see this shadow where the leaf is behind it. So we're going to put the little curly Q here and a line there. And that's going to be where you see it back behind. And then I'm going to go down, up a little bit. And then there's like this little hump, goes up and comes around like that. And then back up. Okay, so then there's this one starts, this side starts and goes up and back down, and then it has this little curve here, goes up, has that little hump there. And then a line there, goes out, back in, and then there's a slight point, and then it goes, there's another hump here, and another curly Q. And this is like a straight line because there's another area where it curves behind and you're just kind of seeing the shadow of it. So I'm not going to draw that in, but we'll paint it in. I actually forgot to do that on my reference or practice painting. And around. Okay, so there's the basic shape, and then the main veins are here, 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 and here. So it's 5 main veins that all the other ones come off of. So the first one was this one that we drew down here. There's another one that ends here, so if you draw it up, all of them are going to start here and end at a tip. So that's how you can kind of get your veins correct. And the reason this one's coming here where there is no tip is because the tip is curled in. So that's why it's not at a point like these two are. And I don't want to draw these as dark as I did the outside because when I paint, the orange will kind of dissolve into the paint and I want the yellow to stay really bright. So I don't want it to mix too much. Our heart is is a hump here and a hump here, and then it kind of is straight like that, okay? And right here isn't really a point, it's more of a curve because it is a leaf. It's not going to be a perfect heart shape. And then there's another hole right here. You don't have to put this hole in, but I think it actually makes it kind of cool because in my reference photo I covered over the hole, or my example painting I covered over the hole, and when I decided to put it in to see how it looked, and I liked it better. Just kind of gave it a little something extra. So I'm going to start by taking my Filbert brush, and I'm going to take the burnt sienna and put some up in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some color with my Filbert and then kind of make it blended by using my mop brush. And then I'm going to take some of this green, the emerald green, and add it in to make kind of like a brown. I'm just going to put some of that in. And I'm going to take my mop. Don't wet it at all. Mops don't need any water. They need to be dry. And then I'm going to take some burnt umber and this light green. See what that does. You want to do this fast because you need both colors that you're blending together to be the same wetness. So you need to be wet when you're using the mop brush. I'm going to take some more burnt umber and kind of put it in that corner. And then I'm going to take some of this light color and put it in here. And the burnt sienna. And the mop brush really just is good at softening it. So I'm going to take some of this green and the burnt sienna, see what that does, and put it in here. Take some plain burnt sienna and kind of put it in. I'm just kind of doing little circles with my mop brush. And in this corner right here, there's burnt umber and ultramarine blue. So it's really, really dark. You get some more burnt umber, it was a little too blue there. I'm going to get some burnt sienna with it. Kind of slowly go into the brown. And then I'm going to blend in these areas. I'm going to take some of this green and go right up against the leaf. And if you cover over it a little bit, it's okay. Just try not to cover over it too much. And I'm going to take this color that I had, put some up here real quick while it's still wet. Maybe some of the green. And blend it in while it's wet. Really back here is probably some other bushes or things like that. So green and red would all be fall colors that you would see. There might be some trees back here that are evergreens, so they're going to stay green, their leaves won't fall off. And then there's going to be some that have turned red. So there's going to be a variety of different colors back there. And I'm going to get some water on my brush to help it flow and get in the cracks up against these leaves, this leaf. Add some up here. So I'm trying to go back and forth from one area to another area, making sure that neither area dries, because if one dries, then I'm going to have a spot where I'm going to have to go back, and I'm going to have to let it completely dry, because once acrylic dries or starts drying, it wants to be left alone. It'll start lifting and make a weird white spot, and you don't want that. So I'm trying to make sure I do this quickly. And you don't want too much paint on your mop brush, so if it's just kind of not really wanting to blend, or it's putting down color instead of blending the colors, then you may need to kind of wipe it off and play with it some more. And I'm going to take some of this light green, the brilliant yellow green with the burnt sienna, put that in here. And I'm trying to put in most of the color and then go back and go really close to my leaf, because I don't want to spend a lot of time getting it close to that leaf and then it be dry and I can't blend it in. Then I'll have to go back and do it over again. So just be quick. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to take it and kind of blend it so that it doesn't look way different from the rest. I'm going to take some of this dark color and kind of tap it in some places. So this is my last fall painting for this year, and then we're going to start doing some winter paintings. And I have the winter ones already. I know which ones I'm going to do. I'll show you at some point. I can't do it right now because I'm trying to work fast, but they're I think they're going to be really, really fun. So you can see I'm just kind of taking different browns and mixing in the green with the brown and just kind of putting different colors together and blending them in. And if yours at any point dries, just let it completely dry and then come back and you can work some more on it, because if it starts drying and you keep messing with it, it can lift. So there's been several times that I thought I can keep going and I'll just try to do it quickly, and then it started lifting and it wasn't good and I had to let it dry anyway. So don't get impatient with it and just keep going, because you would have to do it anyway. So what I could have done is the same thing I did on my example painting. I first took these colors and I went over the whole canvas before I drew it. And then I drew in my leaf on top. And after that, I went over all my leaf area with white, I think twice, before I did any other colors. So you can do that, but I think this way I'll get a brighter yellow color. So we'll see which one comes out better. I really don't use the mop brush very often, but I was thinking I should play with it more because I want to get better at it. I mean, I have one. I should use it as much as I can. So I'm taking the Ultramarine Blue and Burnt Umber and putting some really dark in this corner too. Putting some water. I don't know that I can get in that little tiny spot with this big brush, but it's okay if I get any too far in. You can go with some white or a really light color and fix it later. actually surprised it's not drying as fast as I thought. It's actually working pretty well. So I've noticed something that I want to get fixed, but I don't really know how yet. I use the phone to film the videos. I don't have any special camera or anything right now. And I've noticed that every 33 minutes and 11 seconds, it like stops the video and then starts right back up. So if I'm talking, it might take out 2 or 3 words that I say, which, I mean, it isn't that awful, but, you know, if I'm in the middle of saying something, it's kind of important that, you know, if I'm explaining how to do something, you might not know what you need to do. So I really don't know why it's doing that, though. It's picking the video right back up where it was, but it's stopping and then starting it again. So, and sometimes I'm not talking, so it just kind of looks like I edited something out, which isn't that big of a deal, but, you know, I don't want it, it's not like I want to constantly be looking for when it's about to be 33 minutes and 11 seconds because of that. And I would think it's not supposed to do that, so I don't know. But if there's been any point where it kind of cut off and cut back on, it's probably that. Either I edited something out, like the dog barking or something, or it's the camera that decided that it wanted to turn off and back on. I just realized I hadn't gone on this side lately. Actually, over this way is kind of light. It's light green and brown. And if the background is a little darker than the picture, which I think mine was, it's not that bad because it'll just make the leaf stand out more. So it'll just kind of make all those bright colors in the leaf pop out. So I think that actually makes it look kind of cool when the background's darker and the leaf is really light. It makes the leaf stand out more. There's a pocket of this light green right in here. This bright green, do like a pocket of it. And kind of blend back into the dark color. I'm going to wipe my brush off and try to put some more of that light green on. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my rag and wipe that off. see if I can get it brighter. Okay, now I'm going to try not to, I'm just going to kind of blend in here some. And then I'm going to go out and not touch into that light green. Okay, I'm going to take that light green one more time and put some more in, trying to cover canvas better. Actually, I might take a little bit of my white and add to it right in there. There we go. And we're going to take some of this light and just kind of dab it. So this is dry now over here. So I'm going to just kind of put a little indication of some There we go. Okay, so I'm going to clean out these brushes, and I think I may start on the leaf. Actually, I'm going to clean out my mop brush, and I'm going to have to fill in these holes with something. But I think I'm going to do that a little bit later. I don't know, I might should do it now with my small brush. We're going to wait for this background to dry before we add in the little circles. So I'm going to take the burnt sienna and burnt umber with my little round and put that in the heart. The edges don't have to be perfect because it is a leaf, so it's not like it was cut out with scissors or anything. It's going to be kind of a little more of a jagged edge than super smooth. And I'm going to take some of the burnt umber and the ultramarine blue and kind of some of that in there, kind of blend it like I took the mop brush or something and put some extra color in there. And I'm going to take some of the light green, put some of that in. Okay, and then I'm going to take the burnt sienna and put this all in. Oops. I don't know what it is. I think something I need to get better at is not adding so much water. And it's not that I'm doing it on purpose, it's that I think when I clean my brush or get some water to help it flow, it sticks to the handle of the brush and then runs down and makes this weird mark. And then I'm going to take the burnt umber and add some of that in and kind of blend it in. And I'm going to take some of this light color too, because that's kind of what was around here. Here we go. Okay. Now I'm going to take I'm going to use my angle brush, and we're going to put in the veins, and I'm going to use Cadmium Red and burnt umber. I'm going to start here. I'm going to take some burnt umber too, kind of dull it a little bit more. And I'm going to go down. I'm going to take some of this burnt sienna because I got some of that in there. Just kind of covering up that a little bit better. And I'm going to fill in the other 5 veins and then come back and add in the circles. I think I might dry it because there's some circles that half of it is like behind this leaf, and I don't want any of the circle to be on top of my leaf. So if I put my leaf in first and then do the circles, I might end up covering it up. So I think I'm gonna put the circles in just to make sure if I get any on top of my leaf, I can cover them back up. And I'm gonna take this burnt umber and red and put in the stem We're gonna add some water to help it flow a little better. We'll have to go over that again, but okay. I think I should actually put all of the veins in, and then they can be drying. Because if I put the veins in first and then do the other color, so that I won't have to put the veins on top and it'll be as hard of an edge. So I want to do these first so that when I go over with my other colors, it won't lift the vein off because it has started to dry or anything like that. So there's just a few different ones. That come off these main branches or these main stems. Trying to see where these are. So they look really dark right now because it's a dark red on top of a really light yellow. So it's gonna look way too dark up against this really light color. But it's going to kind of fade into the other colors, so it's not going to look as harsh once we get those other colors on. I think I'm gonna paint in this dark section. Take some burnt umber and add to it. So that'll be all done. And there's a light one here. What I'm trying to do, if I can, is distinctly make the darker ones darker or slightly bigger, and then make the lighter ones that you don't really see a whole lot of lighter and smaller. So if I don't press down as hard on the brush, it'll make it lighter and a really thin line. So I want to do that for these ones that you can't see very much. I'm going to see if this will come up. I think I placed one a little off. There we go. So I erased that one because this is a tip where this long one comes off and goes there. I had the other one aiming there, so I'm going to aim it more down here. So as long as it's not fully dry, if it's still in the process of drying, or not dry yet, then you should be able to take it off. If it's already started to dry and you try to do that, it just may lift the yellow color off. And sometimes they kind of they're not all completely straight like this. Some of them kind of start and then curve and then keep going. So the difficulty for this, I would say, may not be a first time painter painting, I wouldn't think. I would say this would probably be more of a mid-level difficulty, just because maybe the drawing and these fine lines and the blending of the backgrounds may be a little bit harder if you're just starting. You can try it, but you just might be a little more frustrated with it than if you have been painting for a while. Trying to see, I got it pretty filled in here. I don't think I see any other ones that I haven't put in yet. Okay, so I'm going to rinse my brush out. This is still wet on this side, the background's still wet. So I think what I'll do is dry it and come back and put the dots in. There was just a little bit of the yellow that I saw over there, so I just filled it in. So I'm going to dry this and come back and we'll do the dots. Okay, so now that this is dry, I'm going to take my little foam pouncer and I'm going to take, actually I need some more of this brilliant yellow green. There's a few dots with that. And I'm just going to find a spot and get that. So I don't have very much. You can see there's not really a whole lot there. But I'm going to take this and turn it and lift. So you see how that worked? So I'm going to go over it a little bit, just kind of softening it. And there's another one right behind it. So put that on. There's one over here going off the edge. There's a few in here, so I'm just going to kind of pounce and blend in a little bit of this on top. And I'm going to take some more And there's a little indication that there's not really that much. I'm going to spin until, if you spin more than one time over, it kind of blends it in a little bit. So I'm going to spin right here. If you do it fast, it kind of does it a little bit more blended. So you can see there's some circles in there, but it's a little harder to tell. Do some right here. I think these green circles with this dark background really make it really pretty. It's like this whole, I love this picture. It's just so pretty with the bright oranges and reds, and then the circles are behind it, and the softness of the background is just so cool. So a little bit of this green back there that I'm going to kind of put in. And there's some back here. I can get it in there. And there's some little ones kind of all in here. I'm going to get some more because it's kind of not wanting to do a full circle, it's just going in the middle. Sometimes that'll happen when you have it loaded on one part and not another. It'll kind of just put some on the outer edge or some on the outside, middle, somewhere, and not put any in the rest of the circle. So there's quite a few of these lights. I don't want to do too many green ones though, but some light indications of the green ones would be good. There's a lot of them down here too. So that brown was wet a little bit. I got some on my thing. I'm gonna take that off because I think when I go over with my light colors, it'll show some brown through. I'm gonna pick that up. And I think I'm gonna switch now. I'm gonna take some of this emerald green, put some of that with the light green, and there's a few of, oof, that's bright, you don't need that. So I'm going to take it off and go over several times until it kind of blends in. See how it's blending? Might even take some of the, can blend it in a little bit better. I'm gonna kind of clean off my little pouncer with water. Try to lift some of that green off. Actually, I could just take this and wipe it off some, and we can come back with some green and put some in. I'm going to get out more of that water because it's making it a little thin. There's a little bit on this one. There's the edge of one right here. Don't go crazy with this green because there's really not a whole lot of it. And maybe a little bit behind that one. So I'm just going to kind of put a little indication that there's some behind there. I'm going to take the burnt sienna now. And I don't want too much. I'm going to do one. Actually, I think I need to add some maybe orange and some white. And that's too light, so I'm going to take the burnt sienna again. If it needs to be lighter than what we already had, or else you won't be able to see it. So it's burnt sienna, some white, a little bit of orange, and a little bit of red. I'm going to do some I'm going to take some straight red and put some of these. This one may end up being a shorter video than I thought. I thought it was going to be more like a 2-hour one. I don't think that we're going to get to 2 hours. I don't know. I'm going to take some of these. Oh, that's a lot. I'm going to take some of the orange. I don't want a whole lot, so I'm tapping it off. I'm going to put some in here, maybe with some yellow. Kind of lighten it up a little bit. There's quite a bit of these. Oops, just dropped it. There's quite a bit of these lighter ones on this area over here. I'm gonna put some. So I hope that you try this one. And I have a few other fall videos on my channel. I have 3 others on there. So if you want to look at those, you can check those out. You can click on my picture and it would pop up those videos. I'm going to take some of this red and put one in the corner here. It's kind of a faded one. And that may be pretty good. Okay, I'm going to clean clean off my little pouncer in the water. I'm just going to kind of tap on the edge of my water to clean it out. If it's not fully clean, that's okay. You just want to keep your brushes and everything, even sponges, wet until you can clean them with soap and water. And I've been using the pink soap you get like at Hobby Lobby. But I've also heard that Dawn dishwashing soap works good. And I would think that would be cheaper. So I think the next time that I need to get some, I'm going to get that instead. So now let's work on our leaf some. So I'm going to get my angle brush, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the yellow, and I'm just going to work on a certain area. So I'm going to work on this part. So I'm going to like fill in the entire thing with yellow. The entire area that I'm going to work with, I'm going to fill with yellow. Then I'm going to take some of this orange and add it to the yellow. I'm going to do it over here. And in these areas that have some orange in them, I'm going to kind of blend the orange in there. This is just the first layer, so it doesn't have to be perfect. There's some right here. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to the next section, and I'm going to fill in. I'm actually going to rinse that brush out a little bit. I had too much orange. I'm just going to kind of go in here, fill this all in with this yellow. Then I'm going to take my orange and go in the areas that have the orange. And I'm going to take this real quick and put an extra vein here. And I'm not going to go over that part until it dries because I don't want to lift it up. But I'm going to go with any orange spots. So there's orange at this tip and some around here. Okay. Now we're going to take some more yellow and put it up in here. So by going over these veins, I kind of blend them softly in so it doesn't look so bright. But they're dry already, so I'm really not blending them in. I'm just going over and going straight over them with the yellow. And any other colors I'm not worrying about if I go over them or not. I can go over them and it'll be fine. I'm just kind of brushing the orange color. See how it's already giving it dimension just with a little extra orange. So I think actually I'm going to start with the orange for this one, to this part. I'm going to add a little bit of the yellow in here, but it's pretty red on this tip, so I'm not going to add a whole lot. if you go outside of the leaf line, it's okay because these colors that we're using are transparent and the dark color behind will barely see it anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Take a little bit of the yellow. We're going to take some white with that, put some right here. Now if you add white to it, you need to make sure you stay in your lines, because then you'll be able to see it. Okay, I'm going to go in here, fill in with yellow. And take my orange. And then I'm going to take the yellow and go over here. And if you are a beginner, I say that you could leave the leaf just like this. I mean, it looks really good. You may, if you're going to leave it like this, I would have made the veins, I don't know, maybe made the veins slightly lighter. I don't know. Actually, I think it looks good just this way. I don't think you really have to do anything else to it if you don't want to. So, if you're just starting and you want to do it, but you don't think you can, then just do that one spot. Just do that, this one part, and be done with it. Don't do any extra stuff. You might want to add some white along this edge of the heart, like I'm going to do later, or something like that, but you don't have to do anything else to the leaf itself. And all in here is really dark. So on this side of the vein, it's really dark. So you don't have to put very much yellow over there. And there's some this here. Okay, so that's good for now. I'm going to rinse my brush off. And I'm going to take my little round. I'm going to take some white. I'm going to put my little curly cues in. So this doesn't really curl that much, it's just a tip. So I'm going to define that tip more. And I'm going to go over the edge and take away the brown. And there's some over here. And the reason I'm using white is because you can go back over with these transparent colors over white and it will go perfect with the rest of the picture. And then the curly cues, if you go over this dark, the white will cover the dark, and then you can go back with the yellow and cover over the white. So it's like the perfect color to use. straighten that out some. And you might notice that I'm kind of fuzzing out any areas that I do this on, because I don't want there to be a hard edge. If you do like one really dark, hard line of a color, then when you go to put other colors on, it can be hard to cover. But if you kind of fuzz it out, then it'll be easier to cover later. Okay, I'm going to go back here where it's kind of already drying because I didn't put much white. Put that in. And if it's showing a little bit, I say it's okay, because the leaves have brown spots. They have a few brown spots where it's not going to be completely throughout the whole thing bright orange or red or anything. It's going to have some brown spots here and there, which kind of gives it a little bit extra, I think. And it may even look, it could probably look just like you meant to do it if you had some spots like that. It'll look fine, I think. So now I'm going to go and put in the areas that I need some little curls. So there's one. There's one here. So I don't want a whole lot of paint on my brush, or it'll be hard to get a tip. So it starts here. There's one over here. Some of them kind of just curve up. They don't really curl a whole lot. And others actually kind of curl in. There's one here. And this one is just really a point, so not gonna worry too much about that one. I'm really liking this one. It's coming out really good. I think it's coming out better than my example that I had done earlier. I like the shape of it better. My other leaf shape was a little different in the picture, and this is different in the picture. I mean, it's going to come out different every time, but it's, I don't know, I just like this shape better. Sometimes I do a painting, and the first time I do it I like it better, and other times the second time I do it I like it better. So there's this, where the stem attaches to the leaf, there's this dark area. So, and that's what all the veins are connecting to too. So just kind of fuzz that out. And also you can put a few little dots next to it. You can dot your finger on there to kind of lift it off so it's not so dark. Okay, I'm gonna take, let's see, I'm trying to think what I want to do. This is still wet a little bit. I'm gonna do some more of my stem. So I'm gonna take this bright red and see what happens when I put it up here. I think that's pretty. Put that on there. And then I'm going to take some of my orange, I think, and my white. And I'm going to make this light color to go right on the top of that leaf. And then I can go later with straight orange and brighten it up. And I'm going to take some white with some of that orange I already had and put this little highlight right along that leaf, that stem area. I'm going to take some more of the burnt umber and add dark. I think I might actually add this ultramarine blue and burnt umber mixture. Put that in a little bit. Darken it up a little bit more. Okay. Take some more red. Put it in there. And I think, let's see, what I'm going to do now is take my yellow and go in all these areas that I put white over and add yellow on top of them. And there's orange, not white. Well, I said orange and picked up the white. Put some of the orange in there too. So now you can see it like doesn't even look like we had any areas really where we had brown. So now it looks like we didn't get any of that brown in. Now you can see some here and here a little bit, but that's fine because like I said, leaves are not completely orange or yellow. They have some brown areas in them, so that'll be fine. Okay, there we go. So we've got the whole canvas covered, and it's looking really good. I really like it. So there's a spot I'm just seeing right here. I saw that earlier. I just forgot to cover over it. I'm gonna put that in. Okay. And I think it's dry enough now. I'm going to take my angle brush and I'm going to take my red, my orange, more orange I think than red, and I'm going to do what's called dry brushing, so I don't have very much paint on my brush at all, and I'm going to put some paint down and just kind of skim it. See how it's kind of catching the texture a little bit? And I'm making it darker, but it's not that defined. I'm not having to blend, I'm just adding the red on top, and it's adding an extra bit of depth to it. So these areas that have dark orange or have some red, I'm putting this in. So there's some red in here. Some red in here. And there's some on this corner. And I'm not adding a whole lot at this point either. You can see I'm just adding a little bit. I'm going to go right here over that white and put some of that. There's some really dark here. Okay, so now I'm going to take this red straight. I'm going to be really careful about where I put this. So there's some in here, and I'm doing the same technique. I'm dry brushing. So I want the most to be on this edge, and then I kind of fan it out. if you don't do much this red on top of the yellow, just do a little bit like I did there, it almost looks like the orange. So I'm going to take some, put it right along here, put some of that and some right here, some right here. There's some red kind of all along the vein, so there's some here. There's a little here. I'm going to take my yellow and go back, kind of blend over that, because it kind of, there was a kind of like a line where my brush started, so I kind of try to start moving my brush before it even hits the canvas so that it won't have this hard edge. I'm going to add some water to it, just a little bit, and wipe my brush off because I want it to flow. So you can see now this half and this half, how they look different, how this, you can see it has a lot more dimension than the other side. Which the other side, it still looked good before we had even done anything, didn't have done any more orange or red to it. It still looked good, but it looks so much better now that we have even more on it. That just shows how the more layers you do, the more realistic and the better your dimension can be. I'm gonna put maybe a little bit over here and some over here this way. And we have this one last little section left. So not a whole lot on that edge, but there's a little bit. And there's some right here. And some along this edge. Okay, so now that we got the orange in, I think what I'll do is just add a little bit of highlight around the edge of the leaf and inside where this heart is, because it has some, if you can see this, there's like this really light up against the edge where the light is kind of hitting it. It's poking through really bright right there. So I'm going to take my white and maybe a touch of the yellow so that it's not plain white. And I'm going to get water to help it flow better. And I'm going to go and some areas don't have this, so I'm trying to find the spots that do have it and put that in. I'm going to take more yellow now and go right up against that edge. I'm going to take some red and put that back. Get my light color again. There's some along here. And I'm just going to put some white here and put some yellow there. I want a little bit more yellow there. And there's some right up against this line. And there's some right here in this dip around here. There's some up against this part. And some on this side. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to let that dry and then go over with yellow. But first, I'm going to take some of this brown and burnt sienna. And remember, there was this part that curled in here. So I'm going to put that in. There we go. And I'm going to put some of this inside my area here. Just a little on that edge, and then it's all around this one. There's this piece that comes out just a little bit, and then a piece on this side that comes out just a little bit. So like I said, it's not going to be perfect. I'm going to take the yellow and put some yellow in, take off some of that, some red in. Fly in here. Shoo! Flies are so annoying, and once one gets in here, it's like can't get them out. It'll probably be showing itself for the rest of the video. Okay, so my line got a little thicker than I wanted. So I'm just going and kind of putting some of that in, make it smaller. Okay, and I'm going to take this here with some yellow, put that in. I'm going to go up against these edges and put some yellow. Brighten it up some. Okay, so now I've got most of this in. And let's see, let's see if this is dry. This is pretty dry, so I'm gonna put that in. Some of it around here. Put a little bit more. And I'm going to take some of this red and Sienna and put that vein back in because I think it covered over it a little bit. And I'm going to take some more of that white and just put a small line where the vein doesn't connect to the heart. There is just a small area. And I don't think I put yellow along this edge. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some burnt umber and I'm going to put some spots. So there's some spots along here. There's a few dots over here. A few over here. I'm going to take some orange with it and put a few lighter ones in a few areas. Okay, and then I'm going to take the orange and the white and some of these I'm just going to put some dots inside the dots because there's like some color inside these dots. So it's mainly just down here. Okay. I'm going to take some more bright sienna and burnt umber and put some there. It's too watery. Cover that up a little better. And I'm going to take the orange. So now I'm just kind of doing extra things you don't have to do. You don't want to. Put that orange right there. And I think that that's pretty good. I'm gonna take my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen and sign it. You should sign it a finger's width away so that if you frame it, then it won't cover up your name. And I like using these pens because it makes it easier to write small. When I use my liner brush, I tend to make my name ginormous compared to the size of the board. But so I was going to show you the schedule that I made for December and January. So this is going to be next week's, the bird on the fence, and if you want to see it blown up, it's right there. So That's going to be next week. And I've never done a fox before or penguin, so I'm really excited about doing those. And I think it's going to be really fun. So if you go to my channel, if it's been a few months after I've done this video that you're watching it, these are probably already done and on there. So you can look at those and paint those with me if you'd like to. So I hope that y'all enjoyed this one and y'all will paint it. And I hope you will like the video and subscribe. Bye.